Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Friday. Friday, yay day.
Yes,
Yay,
we
Welcome.
made
made
it
it.
through.
We made it. We made it. Welcome, everybody, to Janet's Pick. My name is Janet Ezochai, and if you are joining me for the first time, I created this series of interviews as an opportunity to speak to amazing women, like I say, doing amazing things.
Yay, yes.
Yes, yes. And today, look, I am so honored today because we're making history. We're making history. Look, I think this year is all about history, right? First of all,
Yes,
That's
we gotta
right.
Kamala
start
That's
Harris.
right.
2021 right.
Those Kamala Harris in January. And look, we are making history on Janet's Pick today. I have two sisters, the sister duo today. Whoa. Yes, I have with me Sabine and Samantha Dorsdale. Come on. Welcome,
Yes.
welcome,
Thank you.
Thank you,
welcome.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
We're honored to be
We're
here.
very honored to be here.
Thank you. So honored to have you. It's been a minute. We've been trying to work this scheduling thing out. And I
Yes.
know how busy you both have been. So I really appreciate you coming on with me today. Um, Samantha and Sabine are running an event planning business called Sambine Events LLC. I'm going
Hmm.
to read out their bio real quick. Look, I was just like amazed reading your bios. Samantha and Sabine Dorsdale, founders of Sabine Events LLC, love working with people and have a passion for creating, planning, and executing unforgettable memories. Sabine has a master's degree in business administration, and Samantha has a bachelor's degree in psychology. And these degrees have helped them to be able to manage their business and connect with people. Since their launch in May 2018, they have planned private events such as baby showers, tea parties, and birthday parties. In January 2019, they began focusing on creating events for the public. They've been able to bring people together from all walks of life to have memorable experiences. Some of the public events that they have planned are international women's brunches, paint parties, and game nights. Their zeal for helping others has also led to three blood drives with the American Red Cross,
Hmm.
amongst other community activities. Whoa, 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 whoa. In their free time, you may find them binge watching TV, and we'll find out some of your favorite TV shows. So I'm curious.
Yes.
Going on walks and spending time with loved ones. Welcome again.
Thank
That's
you,
amazing.
Thank
thank you, thank
you.
you.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing. Wow. So, look, I want to ask you something, right? So, I, full disclosure, met you through my sister. I kind of had an idea when you started off. I see it in your
Yes.
bio, and I have to say that I have been so thrilled to actually see a real life startup. you know, I'm
Yeah.
so inspired by both of you, and was it last year or 2 years ago now? This seems like the last 12 months has flew
It has
by.
flown by, yeah.
But
Oh
I
yeah.
saw your 2 year anniversary.
Anniversary,
Yes.
yes. Yes, that was last year. Despite COVID, we still celebrated.
Yes.
Oh,
I said we're gonna celebrate
I sat down
anyhow.
and I watched that like, wow.
Yeah. You
I know
have
when you
to.
started. I know when you all started, and I was just saying to myself, I know when they started. Look at them. It's amazing. 2 years already, and I like that you celebrated it. I like that you marked it, you commemorated
Hmm.
it, you appreciated it, and you celebrated it and put it all out there. That was very inspiring to me.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
just quick question: you talk about being a public event planner. What exactly is that? I'm used to just hearing event planners. Didn't know there was anything like public or private. What's the difference?
Sometimes you gotta make it up as you go on. Well, the funny thing is, we started as like what you say, just event planner. That was what we were looking at when we first started, and then we realized that there was a need, especially in the area, for activities to be going on. Instead
Mhm.
of people have to travel to DC or somewhere far, because
Right.
we're in Waldorf, Maryland. So that's how we started trying to cater for the community.
Yes. So people just need something to do a lot of the time. So we said,
Mhm.
okay, you know what? Let's do some paint nights. Let's get some game night, something fun, especially in times like these where people are down and depressed. There's a lot of mental health issues.
Mhm.
Let's create an atmosphere where people can feel at home, and connect with others in a nice, fun way. Clean, there's no cussing, no drinking, just a nice,
Right.
fun atmosphere. So that's why we decided to just focus on, not that we don't do private events, but we
Right.
focus more on doing the public events and just creating those moments.
Right.
So you all don't wait for people to create those moments and call. You make them happen, and you say, "Here, it's happening here."
Yeah,
Yes.
especially when you
Here.
first start,
Yes.
that's what we were doing. And what was it? Instead of, when instead of waiting for the event to come to you, you create your event and go out to the people. So, and
Exactly.
we've been enjoying it ever since. The amount of people that we've met throughout our different events, it goes beyond your friends and family. It goes
Hmm.
to you meet your neighbors, or someone that you met at a grocery store, or I saw your flyer.
Right.
So,
Or
and
Staples. We
or
become
Staples,
friends
yeah,
with the
we
people that work at Staples.
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, those
yes,
are our friends. We know them by name.
yeah,
Yes.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
my
can you
gosh.
help us with this printing? Yes, we got you. And then we go
right.
back. So you make those connections,
Hmm. And they become important.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Yes.
become very important.
Hmm.
So tell me a bit about your background. I've read your bio. I know you know background in business administration, background in psychology. But aside from that, it's not all the time that we see two sisters that can work together without killing each other.
We gotta kill
But
each other sometimes.
sometimes that can happen. Don't get it wrong. Sometimes that can happen, but I think it comes from the upbringing where family was taught to be important. No
Yes.
matter what, you're obligated to be there for family,
Yeah.
and
Stick together.
and we stuck together. It's
Mhm.
five of us, and of course we adopted siblings along the way. But that was what was instilled in us, and it could be, I don't know what you would call it. It could be culture, because we're originally from Haiti, and we have Caribbean parents. So for those who out there who know that there's certain things that are taught in our culture, and families is the biggest thing.
Yes.
So I think that's what made it easier for us to work together. And
Mhm.
not only that, we didn't just jump into the business and say, "Oh, let's work together." We did projects together,
Mhm.
Okay.
because I think that it's important to, when you're dealing with family, that you do something that's low risk first before you jump into something like, let's have a business. Just because she has one talent and I have a talent, and we decide, oh, let's work together, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work.
That's
You
right.
have to know, are you compatible with
Right.
each other?
Right.
And like you said, we've seen where some family businesses, they just don't work
Don't work.
out.
Yep. Yep.
So before taking that big leap, try something first. And because we've done a lot of projects for a long time together, it just, at the end of the day, it just made sense. Why not do Sambine events together?
Exactly.
I like
Exactly.
what you said because some people have the best upbringing family wise, still can't just get along business wise with their sisters or siblings,
Especially when you see each other all day every day.
see them at work and possibly at home as well. So I like the way you talked about being practical about it. Try your hands on other less consequential projects first.
Mm-hmm.
See
Mm-hmm.
how that's working out. Understand how you complement each other,
Right.
versus weaknesses, and go from there. So, what would you say are your strengths? How do you complement each other? Samantha, Sabine,
Oh, let me
Right.
let me turn off this light.
Hold on
Okay.
Okay,
one second.
sure. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sam.
Yes. So for me, I'm more laid back, quiet, and everything. I'm more on let's stay on task. That's me. And Sabine is the creative type. She likes to do things on the spur of the moment. Also, she's also organized and attack task oriented as well. So that's the thing. And then sometimes I'm the peacemaker also. Like let's woo.
Woosa.
Yeah, let's breathe through it. Let's breathe through it. So I think that helps because we balance each other out. And I think it also helps to make a conscious decision that we're sisters first. So if it comes to that point where we can't get along or things are not working, it's better to, okay, we're not going to do the business anymore. We'll focus on our sisterhood if it comes to that. So I think we made that decision a long time too in the beginning. But, come what may, we're sisters first. We work it out. There'll be days where you'll be having arguments. We say, you know what, let's take a break from this topic
or from each other.
or from each other. You go to your room, I go to my room. We breathe it out, we pray together, and then we come back. But at the end of the day, we're sisters. We're gonna work whatever the issue is out.
Yeah, because it's not worth your relationship because all you're thinking about is money. Because at the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world and still be lonely.
Right.
So if we've had each other for so long and we depend on each other's relationship, why risk that? So that's something that has to be set from the beginning. If things get so bad with the business that we see that there's a potential of us breaking up as sisters, where I'm not talking to you, you're not talking to me, the business won't even be successful anyway. Because even if she decides to walk away and I get a business partner, that doesn't mean I'm going to be compatible with that person. That doesn't mean everything's going to go smooth. That's a risk that I have to be willing to take. Does it mean we could be successful? Yes, we probably could be more successful than where we are as sisters. But are you willing to take that risk?
Right.
So sometimes it's not worth it, because even if I am successful, I still want to have a relationship with my sister. So
yeah, that comes first. That comes first. So yeah, so it works out for us. Like I said, I think we balance each other out, so it helps. And we know each other, and we generally care for each other. We like each other. We love each other. So it works.
Sabine, I saw you nodding when she talked about she was the calm one.
Oh, yes.
I saw you a little, that nod was a little.
Yes, I tell everybody she is the calm to my storm, because she knows, like, and I know myself. I know I can get hot-headed. I know I can get frustrated about a lot of things. Even today was an example, a bad day. And as frustrated as we both were, she was able to get to a point where, you know what, let's just calm down. We know things are not working out. Us being worked up about it is not moving things faster. So let's just, like she said, woosah, take a deep breath and see what happens from here. Or let's reevaluate the situation or the event. Maybe we shouldn't do the event today. Let's do it next month, because there's, and then sometimes in life, things happen that gives you the opportunity to say, stop. Let's not do it today. Let's do it next week or next month. Right. But if you keep pushing and ignoring those, some people may say signs, and you end up in a place where it's not a good place, then by the time you go through it, you sit back and you're like, you know what? I should have listened to my instinct. I should listen to my gut. We did have a conversation. We had the signs back to back to back that says we're not ready for it. So, but you both have to be in agreement with it. Oh, yeah. She can't say, let's go. And I'm saying no, because what's going to happen is the one that's more interested in doing it, regardless of what's happening, is going to end up doing it by themselves and still may not be successful. So where is not a good risk to take, because it's both reputations. It's not just one. We're both Sambine events.
It's a team. It's
right.
a team effort. Yeah. Right. And I think it helps too to have a team member, at the end of the day, because we can motivate each other. Because there are times where you're down and you want to give up, but knowing that Sabine has my back and I have her back, it keeps you going, keeps you pushing.
Absolutely. No, definitely. Both of you are definitely blessed to have each other. That's a relationship and a partnership that some people dream about.
Yes,
I can tell it's a blessing for you to have each other. So, who would you say? Which one of you is the bigger risk taker?
Me. I've been like that for years. Yeah. Before Sambine events, and right. I think I knew it, but when I heard my brother say it, then I knew for sure. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a project or a contract that kind of didn't turn out how you would have hoped, and you had like an "I told you so" moment because there was some sort of disagreement at first, and you managed to convince the other person, and at the end you was like, "I told you so." Do you ever have that moment? And I'm asking this question because I'm listening and I'm watching both of you. And you are sisters, but I'm gonna say this. Ah, God help me. In a way,
Say it.
Sabine, you remind me of a married couple. Okay, I'm sorry, you just because a relationship,
Yep.
family relationship, partnering in business, you all know each other. You know
Mhm.
each other privately as family. You love each other. Your family, and then you have this business relationship. You know each other. You know each other's weaknesses. You
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
know their strength. You know those buttons to push.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yes.
Oh
You
yeah.
do
Oh yeah.
all of that, and you're still making it through. So, do you ever have those moments where it's like, "I told you, if you had only listened to me," that kind of stuff? How do you resolve that? If you,
We do have
Yeah.
those. We've had that moment, but
Mhm.
it wasn't "I told you so" to each other, because at the end of the day, we both agreed.
Right.
Let's move forward.
Yeah.
But we do
To
have,
ourselves, I
yeah,
guess. To
to
be. Yeah.
ourselves,
Yeah.
we do have that moment where, man, we
We should have
shouldn't
gone with
have
the other
done
the
the
other idea
idea,
or
right?
whatever the
Or we
case
should have
is.
waited
Right.
because of XYZ. And
Mhm.
then sometimes um our ideas and our planning doesn't only stop with us. And I think that's the beauty of Sambine events. We do have the support. So sometimes we do talk to mom or dad or our brother and say, hey, if you were a customer or potential customer, what do you think about this? How do you see it? And sometimes you be like, that's not what I wanted. That's not the answer I wanted. And sometimes you're like, oh, you know what? I didn't think about that.
Mhm.
And then you know where to move on. And for that "I told you so" moment
Right.
to each other,
Yeah.
is like, man, we should have listened to mom.
We
Or
should listen to mom or dad.
mom,
Dad was right
dad
about that.
was
Or
right about that. Or you know what?
man, yeah.
How did we? And then
Yeah.
sometimes it's something that no matter how many times you talk about it
Mhm.
amongst ourselves
Mhm.
or with family, you're like, wow, we didn't see that one.
Mhm,
We
Yeah.
just didn't see that one coming.
mhm.
So yes, we've had that.
Yeah.
It's not "I told you so." You kick yourself for it,
Yeah.
because like at the end of the day, even though if I tell her "I told you so," she'll be like, "Well, remember you said yes to that," and then I'm like, "But I didn't say yes to that part." It'd be like, and then she'll say, "At the end of the day, we both said yes to something, and we both agreed to move on and have this event."
Right.
So it's not necessarily "I told you so," because we both agree to move on.
Yeah.
It's only "I told you so" when one says no and the other says yes. So it's more like, okay, we're not gonna do this again.
Right. Or what?
I
How
love
can we
that.
do it differently next time?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. Now tell me. So I know you've because I've kind of known you from
You
years
cheated.
back. Full disclosure. Uh, I know you've tried your hands at other ventures, a few other ventures.
Hmm.
What led you into event planning and the public space for that matter? How did you find
Okay.
yourselves where you're at right now?
Yes, we were tired of sitting and waiting for opportunities to come to us. We've applied to different jobs and different things. You know what? Let's just be
If you
our
can't
own
get a job,
bosses.
create a
Create
job.
a job. Create a job.
Right, come on.
Make it
That's
happen.
the reality of it, because
Yes.
you go through this whole process of filling out applications, doing the resume,
Resume.
doing the cover letter, and
Enhancing your
education.
education.
You go into
Yeah.
school and
Right.
you're like, nothing is
Clicking.
clicking, or
Yeah.
even if you did find something, you're miserable. Because I'm sure a lot of people out there have or is in a job that they're just not happy or passionate about. Whether you don't like your boss, maybe you don't like the task that's given to you, whatever it is, you're just not happy. And we decided, well, if
Yeah.
if you can't get the job that you like, create the job that you
Let's
like.
just create it.
And
Yeah.
that's where we are. And plus
It's more
we
flexible,
right, it's definitely flexible. You're your own boss. Are there challenges? Of course there are
Mhm.
challenges, but at least you know that what drives you is the passion that you have. You know,
Yes.
you're not calling out of work because you don't feel like going, or pretending that you're sick to call out sick.
Right. Or you're not liking what you're doing,
Right.
or, the different headaches that come with the
Hmm.
workplace.
Right.
At least with working together, it's our own headaches,
Right.
it's your
Right.
own headaches. And how are you going to move forward? You come with your own strategies versus, the other way around. So I think that also led to us doing that too. And we were passionate about organizing anyway. That's in us. So it's like, okay, let's, we were doing it anyway, little bit, somebody asks you, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Do you have an idea about this? And then you're like,
Hmm.
okay, we can just use those same type of skills to
Hmm.
in our business. So it helps.
I like that you
Definitely.
mentioned that passion because I was going to say that there are a lot of people that are like, hey, no one's hiring me, and they just don't even know what kind of
Yeah.
business to go into. So I like the fact that you identified that you had this passion that you were already doing
Hmm.
for folks anyway. So that was
Right.
probably an easier transition and more practical as well to
Exactly.
turn into a business.
Yeah.
I like that. Now, can you tell me, for the sake of our viewers, um, can you list out a few practical steps that you went through? Just a
Well,
few, maybe
that's a
three
good
or four.
question.
Few practical, because we hear about this all the time, and some people are still stuck. Like, okay, I get it, but where do I start from? What do I do? What's step one? What's step two? As far as events planning, what part of your preparation do you think has helped you to get to where you are right now? What practical tips can you give?
I think the first thing you need to know is what are your skills and talents. You have to know that, because it doesn't make sense to start a bakery shop and you can't bake. You
Exactly.
you know you can't even cook, much less bake, right? You have to know what is your skill set and what is your talent. And
Yes.
then before starting into a business, because business, there's a cost to it.
Oh yes.
You need startup money, you need this, you got to file pay it. There's your there's payments along the way that has to happen. So before you decide, what, I'm just going to go all in, like what we did, we shadowed another event planner.
Wow. Okay.
Because even though we were doing the whole organ because even though we were doing the whole organizing, whether it was a
Right.
church event, or someone call you, hey, I'm doing a baby shower, can you help me out? And we did all the work. It didn't necessarily mean that this is what I want to do 24/7. This is what, for some people, those kind of things are a hobby,
Right.
which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to know, if is this what I really want to do as a career, as my job, as a business. So in order to answer that question, the
Mhm.
best thing to do is shadow someone. Whether it's to apply, or a friend, oh, I know that you have a bakery shop, can I come in for a week or two and shadow you? You don't have to pay me. I just want to see that this is what I want to do.
Right.
And then
Versus diving in and realizing, oh, this
this
is
is
not what
this
I
is
wanted.
but you
So
invested so
so
much
much.
into it.
Exactly, exactly. So definitely that helps. And also deciding what is your target audience.
Right.
Are you going to focus on weddings? Are you going to focus on children? Are you going to focus on public events? Or are
Hmm.
you going to focus on galas or whatever? So I think um, having that target audience helps too.
Right. Right.
You know, what type of
That's
population you're
that's
going to work
all part
to.
of what I've heard. I know to constitute a business plan, putting thought into some of those parameters you've mentioned, target audience, and exactly being honest about what your skills, your skill set is, and all that. But I particularly like what you said about shadowing. I think that is such great advice for
Yep.
people. It may not be very practical for every area or industry, but where it is possible to shadow someone, because then you get to see. the nitty gritty, the details that we probably don't
Right.
see on the outside.
Right.
You get to learn some tips. You get to network. You build some additional connections.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
you get to know whether it's really for you as well, all at low risk, low cost.
Right.
Exactly.
That's where you have to start off.
Yes.
Low risk. That is
That's
so
where you have to
smart.
start off. Yep. Yep.
Yes. Yes.
That
And
is so
for
smart.
some people, the shadowing may be hard because it depends on the industry. You have a lot of people that are competitors, and you know, shadowing with that person, they may not want you to shadow with them because they see you as, oh, she could potentially be a competitor to me. How do
Mm.
so you have to really do your research and see who is willing to work with you to do the shadowing. I mean, when we did our shadowing, we did it with Miss Uchena. Porsche Events. Shout out to Porsche Events.
Oh,
You
sure.
know,
Okay.
we were able to work with her, you know, at
Yes.
the different events, and we've done the different events with her. So it wasn't like you were just stuck on, and that's what was the great thing about working with her and shadowing was that we were exposed to different types of events that we would have the opportunity to do,
Right.
and you're not feeling like, oh, weddings is not for me. I don't want to do weddings. We've done the baby showers. We did the 1 year old birthday
And
party and the
quinceañeras. Yeah.
quinceañeras and the
Luna
Mooney
Lucci.
Lucci
Yeah.
event that
Yes.
we went to, which was a great event and a great opportunity. And I'm we're so
Oh
grateful
yeah.
that she extended her arms to us and took her under her wings. So it's just you have to find that person that is willing to not only work with you but teach you
Yes. And don't see you as a
as a
threat.
threat. Right.
Mm.
So that is like the key. That is definitely
Yes.
a big key because
Yes.
if I'm uncomfortable with shadowing with you or working with you, I may not want to do it because to me it may, oh, this is crazy. I don't want to get involved in this kind of thing.
Right.
So you want to be with someone
That you mesh well with.
exactly
You know,
like we
that's
had great
yeah.
chemistry with Pasha events.
Hmm.
So that is definitely a
Yes.
practical
And
thing.
another thing is find out what are the different paperwork you need for your state because every state may be different as far as tax laws and those types
Hmm.
of things. Because you
Hmm.
don't want to get into those types of trouble. So definitely find what the criteria is for your area or your state.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that goes along with researching.
Yes.
So if you're there's a template with Small Business Administration. That's where we started. That's where we looked up to create our business plan. They actually walk you step by step as to how to think and what to look forward to and what things needs to be done, whether it's to register with your state or county, filing, like she said, mentioned filing the right paperwork when it comes to taxes. So not only are you trying to think of your skill sets and trying to shadow and do everything at low risk, but also please everyone do your research. You do
Oh
not want to
yes.
get caught, in 5 years after starting, you're in a good place, and then you're hit with a whole bunch of paperwork that, oh, you didn't file for this year, you didn't file for that year, or you didn't fill out this particular section for your taxes, because it will come back, unfortunately, and bite you. So please, it's very imperative to do your research.
Yes, and you just mentioned business plan. That's also another good
Mm,
idea too, as well.
yes.
To sit down and itemize exactly what your visions are for your business. How are you going to do it? Who are you targeting? Those types of things. Where do you see yourself in a few years? Those types of things. It helps you keep on track too.
Right. And it doesn't have to be like a 5-page, 6-page business plan with executive summary and all that. They have template. Yeah, because I mean, it that
Yeah.
that was overwhelming for us, and we were like, we're ditching that. We don't have time for that. We want to get started. So when we did finally find that short version that's more workable and more realistic for us, then we started with that. And then as the years go by, you build on it.
Exactly.
You
Like
build on it because by
really
then you know what
awesome.
your inventory
Right.
is.
Because things could change. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah. It's
exactly.
always
So then
changing.
you can be Then you can put your executive summary, all that stuff in there, how much your inventory is, what's your profit margin, all those big words. You'll get to know what they are and what they mean and how.
She has an MBA. That's why she knows those words.
I'm hearing
Yeah.
that. I hear you. I hear you. Okay, I love it. I love it. Fantastic. Look, nuggets being dropped, gems being dropped in this interview right now. I love it. This is why this is so special to me. I mean it. I told you before, and I really mean it. You are a practical example of a startup, a business
Thank
startup, and
you.
you're
Thank you.
still kind of in the throes of it.
Hmm.
2 years plus,
Hmm.
but you're fresh and you can give fresh insight, into experiences that you're still right there going through it, or just overcame not too long ago. So I love it. This is hot off the press.
Thank
This
you.
is
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. I'm eating it all up. I'm personally eating it all up as your
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
I love it. Samantha, tell me, what has been your favorite part of running this event planning business so far? What's been the best
That
parts?
you're the Sammy. The first part
The
is your
same.
name.
That's my name. Yeah.
Okay,
So
for
it started with
moving
me.
caption, he's the Sam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sam.
Sam.
Yeah, and for those who are not aware or haven't caught it yet,
Yes.
Sambine Events. Sambine is a blend of our name. I'm
Right.
Sabine, and this is Samantha. I should say Samantha, and I'm Sabine.
Right.
So Sam is the Sam. Well, I call her Sam sometimes. Samantha is the Sam in the Sambine Events.
And
So,
she's the
and I'm the
bean.
I'm the Ed.
Yeah, she's the bean in
I'm the bean
it's-
in
yeah.
Sambine.
Right. So
So
because we had tried coming up with the name,
Yeah.
so many different names, and that one just stuck. And we're like, you know what, this is it.
I love it.
Nobody out there will have that name. It
Right.
reflects the the two of us. So definitely,
hmm
so yeah.
So what's your favorite
My
part of Sambine
favorite
events?
part of Sambine events is being able to just have fun, create those moments like our paint night. Just the other day, we had a little girl at our game night, and she just lit the whole thing up. She's like, "Can we play bingo?" I'm like, "Sure, we can play bingo." She's just seeing that joy in a little child's face as she's learning about Black history. So those moments, and then people call you and say, "You know what? I really enjoy that." So I think that's one of the things, the highlights I enjoy about Sambine events. Yes.
Yep.
I love that. You talked about, when we talked prior to this interview, the paint night you had, and I was beating myself off. I'm telling you, because that sounded like the perfect Valentine's.
Yes.
It was. We had a ball.
Speak,
Yes.
just speak on it a little bit. Tell us about how you pulled that off.
So that paint night which was February 13, because February 14, Valentine's Day was a Sunday. So we had it Saturday night and we called it Sunset Love. Now, of course, when we advertised, it wasn't restricted to just couples. The whole point of it was to spend time with someone that you cherish, whether it's a parent, a spouse, a friend, a neighbor, whoever it was that you think, because last year with COVID has been such a mess for a lot of people. And just like a lot of people, we also lost family members and friends to COVID.
Oh,
So
yes.
that particular paint night, that particular event meant a lot to us, that we shouldn't just isolate it to just couples. It's just love. Anybody that you love or you care about to do the event. So we had customers from New York, from Florida, Texas,
Georgia.
Georgia, and it was fun because the couples, I'll call them couples for now, that were in the same room, doing the paint project, the fussing. It was, no, that is too dark.
Right.
And it's things like that gets you going, like, yes, we have to have another paint night like this, because
You do your side.
you do your side. No, your line is on my side. It was a blast, and we got to hear backstories of why that person chose that other person to be a paint partner. What
Wow.
was the reason?
Beautiful.
So, and it wasn't something long that everybody, it was just, I picked Samantha because I know she loves painting, or is because she's my wife. Well, she's not my wife, she's my sister, but I'm just giving an example.
Right.
Whatever the reason was, and I wanted to do it with him or her because we've known each other for 10 years, and the first time we met was at a grocery store. Things like that, that I'm like, oh wow, and they're still together. So, and we also had oldies playing in the background,
Oh,
like
yes.
Your Temptations,
Yes.
My Girl.
Yes.
Oh,
They're like,
wow.
turn it up,
Turn it up, turn it up. I'm like, okay,
Oh,
it's a party in here. So
wow.
even though it was virtual, we had a blast.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
fun, and we
Mhm.
had like almost 15 people for that event, and we couldn't ask for anything better. And then we still keep in contact, with our clients. A lot of, and then with the clients too. You got some clients, they will come to every event you have, no
yes.
matter what it is. And
Your
then,
ride or die.
yeah, those are your ride or die. Then
Yeah.
you have those that only appear for paint nights. Then you have a group that only appears for game nights. So whoever wants to have a business, don't be discouraged because Samantha is not coming to every. It's not going to be that way, because you go to a bakery shop. I'm not buying cake every day, you know. But the fact that you have someone, a customer or a client, or they become friends with you, um, support you. That is what's important at the end of the day.
Oh yes. And support may come in different ways.
Exactly.
Whether it's an encouraging word,
Mhm.
actually showing up to the event, or what can I do for you? I can't make it, but can I help with something, or can I donate something, some money? So there was one guy, he couldn't make it to a paint night, but he
He
said,
paid for someone
I'll
else's
sponsor
ticket.
somebody else to go. So
Right.
support comes in different ways.
Right.
And we appreciate it all. We really do.
That paint night I think was genius, for a business idea and the need that you were filling in for that night. Folks that were just like, okay, there's COVID, and I think the weather
Yeah.
was kind of bad that weekend as well.
Yeah,
So
it was cold that
that made
weekend. Yeah.
perfect. I was like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, we had a whole
Wow.
program. We
That-
had games and everything. We had a whole
oh,
program before we went into and even the instructor, that also makes a difference, because we've been working with Miss Donna since the first time
Yeah,
we did paint
2019,
night, which was
yeah.
2019, January 2019. She did our first paint night, and people that have done paint night with us always ask, are you going to have her? Because she's built a connection with our customers. So when you have to outsource your business to a certain extent, whether it's supplies or whatever, the question is, do you have a good connection with that person, with that vendor? Because it makes a difference on how you are going to do your customer service, because your customer service depends on that vendor.
that's right.
So if you don't have a good relationship with that vendor, and your clients or customers don't have a good relationship, you'll lose them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like, I don't want to come back.
I'm not gonna come
She was
back.
mean, or
Right.
whatever, or she went too fast.
Right, whatever
Yeah.
they may feel uncomfortable, whatever
Right.
the issue is. So
Mhm.
that's another key.
Yeah.
Anyone that's running their business, if you have to outsource, whether it's you have to get your supplies, or whether you have to get an instructor, make sure that you have a good connection with that person.
Yes, and learn from feedback.
Oh yes.
Yes, because people will give you feedback, or you could ask for it too. And from there, you say, what changes can we make? What can we do differently? What worked? What didn't work? So that's important too, and that helps to grow too.
Yeah, you can't be stubborn about it, because you don't know it all.
Right.
You don't know
Right.
it all. So,
We're all learning from each other.
right.
I hear you. It seems like it's been great and exciting, but what would you say then, Sabine, are some of the pitfalls that you've encountered in your journey so far? Maybe the biggest of them all, or the most challenging that you've come across so far, and how did you overcome it, or how are you getting through it? I know. Look, can I know, look, I always ask this prematurely, but I'm going to be greedy, and I'm going to ask you all for a part two. I'm greedy, and I'm going to, before I've even finished what's in front of me right now. I'm going to ask you humbly and greedily part to interview. But
Sure.
yay! um, so we'll talk about the pandemic. I think I'm going to leave that for a part two, like lessons from the pandemic,
Okay.
because that's big. I don't
Mhm.
want to even rush that.
Right.
Um, because yeah, I'd really like to hear how you got through it. A lot of people have different formulas they've used to get through it. Some folks have totally pivoted their business
Mhm.
model, the product or service they provided just to get through. So we'll talk about that later. But generally, in the past almost 3 years since you started, what would you say is one of are or is one of the toughest challenges or pitfalls that you faced in
The
the event
toughest
world?
It could be
challenge.
attendance because
Yeah.
sometimes it may not be well attended like you hope.
Mhm.
Because I believe there was one event it was really low. Um, so that's a pitfall. What else?
Um, Starting when we
Yeah,
first
yeah,
starting,
just
it
starting
was
out.
the
Yeah.
hardest
Mhm.
thing because nobody knows who you are,
Right. Yeah.
and the people that you thought would support you didn't support you.
Hmm.
So then you come to this realization that I can't depend on friends and family. I have
Only. Yeah.
only, I
Yeah.
should say. Let me correct that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
I can't depend on friends and family only in order to thrive. I
Hmm.
have to go outside my comfort zone. I
Mhm.
have to go outside my own circle and figure out how can I reach an audience. Okay? Not even a big audience, just an audience. Even
Right.
if it starts off with 5 people,
Right.
how do I reach those 5 people?
Hmm.
So starting off was really, really
Oh
hard.
yeah.
Where, like I said, when we started, we were thinking about the birthdays, the baby showers, and you're like, you literally walking around with your phone all day. Did your phone ring? Mine didn't ring. Okay,
Yeah.
you're looking on your in your email to see if anybody emailed you, and we're not going to sugarcoat it. It was hard because no one knows you.
Yeah.
So it's either, well, it depends on the business too, because not everybody's an event planner. You just have to find a way of how can I reach an audience. So that was the biggest task. And once
Right.
we figured out, you know what, we're not going to wait for the events to come to us. We're going to create our own events so people can come to us.
I love that.
Then things started, you start seeing things moving.
Right. And using other channels, not just social media. So you gotta do word of mouth, the fly sometimes you need flyers, the
Yeah.
postcards, different things, not just sticking to one traditional way versus the other. So mixing it up, the different forms, even if it takes making phone calls, sometimes that's what it takes,
Yeah.
or using WhatsApp, different platforms, and just hoping people spread it.
Mhm. and
Yeah.
and we've also we've also learned that just because you're on social media and you get a bunch of likes don't mean they're coming to your event.
Right. It,
that's that
that's
is just the
yeah.
truth of it. And the
Mhm.
reason why I say that is because you get excited, like, oh, we have 36 views on our video, and you advertise that event, and there's not 36 people at your event. At your event,
Yeah.
or it, and then you have those that you have so much likes, they click that heart. That doesn't necessarily mean that they even read, because we've had people ask us, so what time is the event? Remember, the flyer is there, they liked it, but they ask you, what time is the event? So so we're like, we found out that people are not reading. So it depends. You got to find a way to get different types of people.
Yeah.
You have those who are visual. They want to hear and see you move, so you got to put up videos. Then you have those, oh, I don't mind reading because I'm at work. I can't listen to what's going on anyway. So I
Right.
rather, scroll through and read what's going on. And then
Mhm.
you have those that don't do either. So how do you reach them? So you got to go the old school way.
Yeah.
You pass out flyers. Like, we meet people at Staples all the time because we're printing
Yeah.
our stuff.
Mhm.
So, oh, here you go. Nice meeting you, John. What's your name,
Right.
John? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
This is what, and sometimes you do see those people attend your events, whether it's a concert that we did
Right.
or whether it's a paint night.
Mhm.
You just, and that comes with self-realization and self-assessment and a whole lot of self. that
Sure.
what can I do to go beyond this point? Because
Right.
remember, especially if you're trying to reach your older generation, they're not doing Facebook and Instagram and tweeting.
Some of them are not even texting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to
Yes.
call grandma.
You gotta call grandma. We have
Right.
paint night in
Right.
2 weeks. Okay, get your change together, and okay, honey. And then you gotta call grandma again. Grandma, it's tomorrow. It is, because even with family, you even though you tell them, they're like, okay, cool, cool, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there.
Mhm.
And then they're like, when is your event? It was last week. You missed it.
Oh
Oh,
man. Yeah.
So sometimes that you just have to keep pushing and do
Yeah.
it. Like there's times where we find ourselves, Sam will tell you, she's texting everybody in her contact book,
Yep.
you know.
You can be tired of me. I'm gonna text you.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So
I
that's
love that.
definitely a challenge. Just getting the word out there.
Right.
You know,
Right.
is definitely marketing and all of that. That's a challenge. But pushing through and just finding different ways and means. That's how we get through. You
I
know,
love
and
it.
we're always
And, you know,
open
that,
to learning and researching.
Right.
How can we get this out? What's new out there? And
Right. And you
you
have
know,
to. You have
mhm.
to. And there's this misconception that just because you run your own business, everything is gonna be okie dokie and roses. No.
Mhm.
What you put in is what you get out.
Oh yes.
That is the difference between working for yourself and working for someone. When you're working for someone, you have to do the work. They're expecting certain things done from you. So when you're running your own business, there's days where you may not feel like doing anything, but you can't expect to be in bed all week and think that you're going to make X amount of dollars by the end of the week. It doesn't
Right.
work that way.
Mhm.
So that is the challenge in running a business, because it's not as easy as you thought it would be. Like, you really have to put some work in. Sometimes you go to bed at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning,
right.
because you're trying to make sure everything is straight and done
Right.
and ready.
Or dealing with books, or keeping
Yeah.
the account straight and those type of things, the financial aspect. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of elements to it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so real for you to talk about that reality that hits when you actually start, and you may have this beautiful large support, this network of friends and family, and you realize that they love you, they support you, but probably may not be as passionate or interested in
Right.
the business or service that you're offering, or not available or able to
Right.
Right.
be there
Right.
when you want them to, as many times as you want or need them to. And that reality can be can be um can be tough to get
Yes.
through. But I
Yeah.
like that. In doing our part two, we'll talk about other startup challenges, because I think a lot of people just get stuck at that startup phase. And once they get started, I look at it as, like jump starting a car. Sometimes you
Yeah.
need
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
push over over the
Yes.
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 and once they're going, the engines are off and they're revving, they're ready to go. But just
Yeah.
that startup phase,
That startup. Yeah.
that's why I
And
have these.
sometimes the car stops again.
And sometimes the comes up again. You say, okay, guys, well, all right, let's do this again. So I want to hear all of that. We'll deal with some of those in our project. I can't believe it's almost an hour, folks.
Is
Almost
it? Oh
Oh
wow.
wow.
We always have fun talking.
We've
Always.
been going through this. If you're just joining me for the first time, my name is Janet Ezwacha. I am creator of Janet's Pick. You are in the right place at the right time right now, listening to us. And I have the privilege of speaking with this sister duo, as I call them, Samantha and Sabine. They are owners of Sabine Events.
Sambine.
Sabine. I better look.
and and don't feel
You're
bad
not the
about
only
it.
one.
You're not the only one.
Sarah, I'm so sorry. Oh, no.
It's okay.
Sam B, because she's the Sam.
Okay,
Yes.
Sam, to
And
her
Sam
being.
B.
Yeah.
You
Right.
can't miss it. They're down in Maryland. However, they are in the public event space, and they are coordinating events virtually. So we are talking about a worldwide audience right
yes.
Yes.
now. They're global. They're global. They're global. I love it. So just as we close, though, I wanted to ask you, because we're talking family now,
Hmm.
um, I know you do have a strong family network.
Yes.
Can you tell me the value that that family support has brought to your business? You're being able to get to where you are now, and being successful.
They keep us going when we feel
Mm-hmm.
down. There's times when we don't feel like, I think we shouldn't do this anymore. And
Yeah.
they're like, no, keep going. They keep motivating us. It's okay. Things are not going to always go the way you plan.
Or it's not as
It's
bad
bad
as
as
you
you think,
think. Right.
different things like that. So I think having the family that we do have helps to continue to motivate us and inspire us not to give up,
Right.
and they give us ideas too,
Yeah. And sometimes when we do go to them, it's not only, oh, it's a family, because sometimes when you're dealing with family, you how can I put this? You want to hear something that makes you feel good.
That's true too. Yeah.
And sometimes that's not what you need to hear. You need to know the hard truth. You need to hear you're too expensive. If it was me, I'm not going to your event.
Right.
Something like that. And then you say, okay, so if this is too expensive, what can I do to get your attention for you to come to my event? And then there's sometimes, no matter how you try to turn it around, the price is set, because we do sit down together and do the math, and you're like, well, I guess that's how it's going to be.
Right. Yeah.
There's no way
To twist
around
it
to twist it
around or
around, to
yeah.
turn it upside down, put it on its side, whatever you got to do. You're still two
At
plus
this
two
point.
is four.
Right. Yeah.
There's no way around it.
Yeah.
So with family, the support system that we have is so important to us, and I think, like I said earlier, it comes from the upbringing. Family is important. Um, are our families perfect? No.
No.
Mm, no family.
We have our days.
Right.
You
Right.
know, we have days with our families too, but when it comes down, and that's the beauty of working with Sam, that despite the fact that she knows that we're sisters, when we're making this decision, it's a business decision.
Right.
Is not to make her feel good, is not to make me feel good, is how is it gonna help or hurt the business?
Exactly.
So with
Yeah.
with family, yeah, I love the fact that we do have a great support system with our family. Um, and it's not necessarily that they have to come to our events.
Mm.
You know, like Samantha mentioned, there's different ways to support someone and their
Oh yeah.
business. So I can't
Yeah.
complain.
Not at
Can't
all.
complain.
We've
I
been
don't think
blessed.
there's
We've been
anything because
blessed.
you both look like you're doing just great with several things are working out right now. I love how you've mentioned like your family is your number one focus group because family
Hmm.
will tell you the truth, right? And
Yep.
when you talk about running things by your parents and say, would you be willing if we said this service at this price? Would you be willing to pay for that? And that they're really upfront with you. That's
And sometimes they ask, "Do you have senior citizen discount?"
Right. Right.
I love the parents. I love your parents. Oh my god. This has been so much fun. This has been fun.
Yes, it
Yes.
has.
We had fun too.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us and giving us this opportunity to
Yes.
reach a wider audience.
Yes.
We've
Yes.
we've had a blast.
Yes. This is our first time being on YouTube, so
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh my gosh, what?
Yeah, we've never. Let me tell you, to even get on Instagram was a challenge. You asked about the challenge question, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
We had Facebook. She had her Facebook. I had my Facebook, and Miss Uche, she was like, "Y'all need to get Instagram." I'm like, "I don't do that." And she's like, "Yeah, you need to get a Twitter account." I don't do that either. Like, and as much as the two of us try to fight it, we realized that that's another group of audience, and it was required. It's a must. So there are some things that you have to do out of your comfort zone if you want to reach a goal. You don't compromise your beliefs, you don't compromise yourself,
Right.
but if there's something that will help you with your business, for example, creating an Instagram account or Twitter account to reach that targeted audience, then you have to
You
do
try
it.
it out.
And you got to be consistent.
Yes.
That's another one.
Yes.
You got to be consistent. You can't post today and not post for a month later. We've experienced that. That doesn't
Right.
work,
Yeah.
and it takes time to get used to. So
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most.
yeah,
So we're thankful for this opportunity to just
yes.
connect with you and be on your show. So thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Janet.
Yeah.
Oh, my love, right back at both of you. The pleasure has been mine. I've had so much fun and learned so much in the process. Thank you,
You
honestly.
are so welcome, and thank you because we've learned from you too.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. How can viewers reach you for folks that are thinking, you know what? I think I need to, I have some events that I think I can get these ladies on, have them on coordinating for me. How can folks reach you?
Well, they can reach us at our website www.sambineevents SAMBINEEVENTS.com, or you can email us at sambineevents@gmail.com, but it has one E, so it'll be SAMBINEVENTS, and it's all one word
At
at
gmail.com.
gmail.com. Thank
Yes.
you.
Come on. Yes. Yes. Look, and these ladies, they've they've organized bus tours. I mean, I heard something about Niagara Falls trip.
Yes.
What? So look, more power to both of you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
And we
you.
actually have a game night coming up in March.
March 27, we have another game night. So if you've
Yes.
missed the one in February, you still have time for the one in March. And we do have an upcoming blood drive coming up well, we have some time, but it's in December. I forgot the date,
Yeah,
December,
more information will be
more
coming out.
information will be coming out regarding the blood drive, especially for those who are within our area that do want to help out in the community. That's one of
Yes.
our biggest community projects, doing
Yes.
the blood drive.
So feel free to follow us on Facebook or Instagram so that you're up to tune with everything that we're doing.
Right,
As we post on there often, so you
right,
will see our flyers and stuff
and
like
we make
that.
our announcements.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yay!
Thank you.
So much, Sabine.
You're welcome.
You are so welcome. We have fun. I can't wait for part two.
Yes,
Yes.
look, me too, me too. Let's do that soon. So everybody, watch out for announcements on my part two with these
Yes.
lovely ladies. You can't miss it. So from me to you, have a lovely, 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 lovely weekend. Don't forget to subscribe. Come on, what are you waiting for? Just
And
subscribe.
click on the notification bell.
You know that belly thing.
Yes.
And, give me a like, leave me a comment, let me know how this interview has impacted your life, and tell me, let me know, what kinds of folks, ladies, are you looking at for hoping that I get to interview. So thank you so much again. Give some love to my ladies here.
Yes, we love you too.
God bless you all. My name is Janet, and see you again sometime soon. Take care.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.